In the previous video, we learned how to access the controller. Now we're going to dive deeper into the dashboard itself. Let's move over to the laptop screen. So here is the login screen. The default username and password are both admin. When you log in for the first time, it will ask you to create your own password, so let's do that. I'll log in again using the new credentials, and we're in. When you access the controller for the first time, it will ask you if you want to go through the setup wizard. The setup wizard walks you through 7 quick steps to get your NHD project up and running. I'm going to skip it for now because I want to show you the dashboard first. We'll go through the wizard later. First up is the TX/RX status tab. This tab shows all transmitters and receivers in your system, along with detailed information for each device. Most of the information here is clickable. For example, I can double-click on a device name to give it a nickname. I can also double-click on an IP address to change it. Other information like firmware, for example, is not clickable. It just shows the currently installed version. On the far right, you have the options column. This is where you find additional settings for each device. Below the table on the lower right side, you'll see the total number of transmitters and receivers, along with how many of them are currently online. Next to that, you can switch between pages if your device list doesn't fit on a single page. So if you don't see a device right away, it's probably sitting on another page. Next is the matrix status tab. This is where you route signals from transmitters to receivers. Transmitters are shown in the columns and receivers in the rows. Just click the circle between TX and RX to make the connection, and if it's successful, the circle will turn green. You can also use the To All RX button to send one transmitter to all receivers. If you're using the NHD 500 series, there's also an audio return tab. This lets you send audio return channel or ARC from a receiver back to one or multiple transmitters. The next tabs are video wall and multiview, and as the name suggests, this is where you set up those configurations. There's also the NHD Touch tab. NHD Touch, if you remember, is our free iOS and Android app that lets you control your NHD system from a tablet. This tab is where you configure the settings for that app. These 3 tabs need their own attention, so we'll cover them in separate videos. For now, let's jump over to the Advanced tab. The Advanced tab shows all possible settings for your transmitters and receivers. As you remember, we could tweak some of the settings directly from the TX/RX status tab, but here in the Advanced tab, we have everything. A really useful feature here is that you can apply settings to multiple devices at the same time. Just select devices of the same type on the left and apply settings. This is especially helpful for global changes across the system, things like changing IP addresses, tweaking video settings, adjusting EDIDs, and so on. Throughout these advanced settings, you'll see a little eye or information icon. Just hover over it to see a brief description of that setting. This is also a place where you update the firmware for your encoders and decoders. This is really important, so we'll cover it in a separate video as well. Last but not least is the Controller tab. This is where you manage all NHD controller settings. Here you can adjust IP addresses for the AV and control ports we discussed earlier. You can tweak API settings, change passwords, import or export configurations, check the system log, and much more. This is also where you update the controller's firmware. So remember, in the Advanced tab, you update the endpoints, and in the Controller tab, you update the controller. So that's the controller's dashboard in a nutshell, and we'll dive even deeper in the upcoming videos.